Hello crafty friends, and welcome to another Hungry Healthy Crafts video. It's Lesley Oman here, and I have had my eyes on the Party Animal stamp set from Lawn Fawn for a very long time, and I finally got it. So I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted my animals to have a party. So here they are on my card today, and let's get started with the card making process. So I'm going to be using the Party Animal stamp set. I'm also going to be using the So Stinkin' Cute, the little skunk from that, which you'll see later on. But to start off with my card, I've cut 2 panels using the stitch rectangle die. And on one of these, I'm going to be using the stitch circle dies, which are from Simon Says Stamp. And I'm going to cut 3 circles out of this front panel of my card. Now I've got my 3 circles here. I'm going to be using some dye inks. These are the Simon Says Stamp dye inks to colour these guys in. And I'm using my blending tool for this, the little foam blending tool. And I'm building up the colours. It does take a little bit of time, but slowly and light layers really does give the best results for this. I find as well with the dye-based inks that a smooth white cardstock works really well. So I'm using Nina Solar White cardstock for this. So now that I have my 3 circles all coloured, I'm going to move over to stamping and creating my little critters. So I'm using the skunk from the Stinkin' Cute set, and I'm also going to be using the bear and the little fox. And you'll see later on as well that I do add some of the embellishments and the accessories which come in the Party Animal stamp set. Now I'm going to be Copic colouring, so once again I'm using my Nina Solar White cardstock, and I'm using my Memento Tuxedo Black ink for this, which is a Copic friendly ink. Decided to use my Misty so that I can stamp twice and get a really nice deep dark impression on my images. I wanted my colouring to be quite subtle. I didn't want to go too dark. So with a light hand, I'm colouring in around the edges and then blending that out with a mid-tone colour. And then instead of having a lighter colour on top, I'm going to use the 00, the colourless blender, to blend that into white. For my fox, sometimes I go a really deep red, but I wanted to be more orangey brown for this card, because I didn't want to take away from the colours that were in the background of those little cutout circles. So I went for more orangey tones. But one of my circles is yellow. So I thought that it would really work best if I had a neutral toned critter to go on top of that yellow circle, which is why I chose to have the little skunk. I'm just finishing off these little critters and adding some blushy cheeks and blending out their tummies. And then I'm going to cut them out using the coordinating dies for the Party Animal stamp set. Now I don't actually have the die for the little skunk. So once I've got these other guys cut out, I'm just going to fussy cut around the outside, leaving a little white border so that it kind of matches the other 2. I'm lining up my top panel on top of the bottom one now, and I'm going to just put a little dab of wet glue in each of those apertures so I can stick these circles right in there. And they're going to be in the background, but I want the front panel of my card to be raised up so that I have a nice dimension. So I'm using some foam tape to add a layer of dimension on top of this bottom panel all the way around. So my top panel will go like this. I'm just playing around here, trying to figure out exactly where I want the little critters to go. And I'm going to then stamp my message onto the front. On the Party Animal stamp set, there is one image that says Let's Party. And I'm going to be pairing that up with one of the stamps from the Jump for Joy stamp sets. That's one of the new autumnal releases. And it says You Did It. So I'm going to pair up Let's Party with You Did It, Let's Party, woo! And I'm using some pigment ink for this. Now, this is a really pretty colour of pigment ink. It's just from a local craft store. It's not really a brand name, but it stamps such a light colour. So I'm using my Misty to stamp that. I think I stamped it 3 times in the end. And then I covered it with some clear embossing powder and blasted it with my heat tool. For the little "You Did It" stamp on top, I'm going to use a yellow pigment ink for that as well. Once again, stamping that a couple of times so that I get a bit of a richer colour. So now I have my front panel stamped. I'm going to put all my little critters in place and figure out what other little touches I want to add to the card. Now I stamped and coloured in a balloon, a little cake, and then one of these little party blower thingy-majiggies. And I'm going to cut them out with the coordinating dies and then adhere them onto the card. For the cake, I think that will look really well on the foxy, and the party blower will go up top on the skunk. So before I stick the front panel onto the bottom, I want to make sure that these guys aren't going to move around. So I'm putting a little wet glue onto their feet and tucking them in exactly where I want them to go. And then I can remove all the adhesive from the foam tape and stick that on top. And you might have noticed there that I actually did add a little foam tape to the back of the 2 little critters as well. Now, I thought that it would be really fun to add some twine to the balloon, and then the little bear would be holding it. So I cut 2 slits on either side of the neck of the balloon so that when I tied a knot, it fits really snugly in there. I'll add a little bit of glue to hold that in place, and then I can figure out exactly where I want it to go. But I'm using a needle to thread through just on the line where the stamped line of the little bear's hand, so that when I have the card all assembled, it really does look like the little bear is holding it. So let's stick this guy down, the little foam tape, and I'm just going to tie a knot on the end of this and add a little dollop of wet glue there just to hold it in place. Now the card's nearly finished, but I thought that it needed a little bit of extra touches, so I added some stars and some of these little tiny like asterisk shapes with the same inks that I used for the ink blending. And then I added some of these little diamond embellishments, which are from Honeybee Stamps, and they give such a beautiful sparkle to the card. All that I needed to do then to finish up was to, of course, stick this panel onto a card blank, and I used a top folding note card for this today. And I'm using my black glaze pen to add some black, really darken up those eyes, and that's it done. Thank you so much for watching the video today. Please do hop on over to Hungry Heffy Craft to see more of my work, and if you liked the video today, please leave a like, and please also, if you're in the mood for it, subscribe to my videos for more crafty goodness. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day. Bye!